Behind me there is one of our zinnia patches, and over here we have an olive tree. We've never planted an olive tree before. We decided we'd try that. And then we have a couple of fruit trees, some apple trees and some pear trees. They're all things we've planted and things that hopefully will grow. You know, you read this morning's devotional that I titled Dead Sticks, about my friend Claude Summerlin giving me these dead sticks and telling me that if I'll stick them in water they'll grow, and I doubted ever so much that those dead things had any ability whatsoever to grow. And still, because I trusted Claude, I think, I put them in some water, and sure enough, I don't remember, a few weeks later, they started to sprout all these little roots out on the bottom of them. So I called him, I was like, Claude, they're growing roots. And he laughed because he was not surprised. And then he said, well, the next thing you need to do is go plant them in the ground. And he taught me what I needed to do over the phone. He taught me through how deep the hole and how wide and how to pack the dirt and all that kind of stuff. And I did, and eventually they grew into beautiful flowers, beautiful plants that had beautiful flowers on them. And I can't help but recognize that as we have such great confidence that if we'll plant a few seeds, plant a few saplings, that they will produce great fruit, we oftentimes doubt that if we plant seeds in people that it will grow fruit. And we especially doubt that if we plant seeds in people that we think are dead sticks, that it will grow fruit. Well, let me remind you of Ephesians 2:10. Ephesians 2:10 says, for we are created, we being all people are created in Christ Jesus' image to do good works that the Lord has prepared in advance for us. So you know what that tells me? You know what encouragement that gives me is no matter how dead a stick I look like, God prepared something in advance, prepared some good work for me to do. The reality is, He prepared good works in advance for those people that you and I think might be dead sticks too. And we're doing the disservice by not planting seeds in them. We're doing the disservice by not putting a little water on them. We're doing the disservice by not nourishing their roots. That's called discipleship. That's called intentionality. That's called love. And that's on us. I have an estranged friendship. A guy that I desperately love. He and I have a lot of common interests. It's interesting. He's a cowboy. I'm not. He's a rancher. I'm not. He and I are very different on outward appearances. You might say that he might look at me and go, that's a lawyer. That's a dead stick. Or I might look at him and say, that's a cowboy. That's a dead stick. We have an estranged relationship right now because men are sometimes just men, and we're stubborn. But as I was thinking about this very video, I thought, you know what? I'm going to call him. And so I picked up the phone as I drove over today, and I just wanted to tell him I love him. And I didn't get him. I'm sure he's going to call me back, or if he doesn't, I'm going to try to call him again. And I'm going to tell him I love him. You know why? Because I don't think he's a dead stick. And I pray he doesn't think I am. And I know this. I know that if we nourish each other, Proverbs 27:17, just as iron sharpens iron, if we nourish each other, so shall one man sharpen the countenance of another, then I know that beautiful fruit will grow. You're not a dead stick. I don't care what anybody's told you. You're not so broken. You're not so defective. You're not so used up. You're not so old that God can't use you. In fact, if God were to manifest himself, he might be sitting there going, when are you going to get up and go? When are you going to get up and do? Just like with plants. I come by here every day or every few days, and like from yesterday to today, those plants have grown that much. And it's almost as if I'm saying, when are y'all going to flower? Or when are y'all going to produce fruit? See, I'm impatient. God's not. God's just expectant. He yearns for us to follow his will. You're not a dead stick. And so I hope you let this video, this devotional, I hope you let it water you a little bit, nourish you a little bit, so that that beautiful flower that God intends to be your purpose will start to grow. And then remember that there are people around you, they need you to water them. They're not dead sticks either. Listen, I work with some of the worst, friends. I work with drug addicts and robbers and thieves and murderers. And I can tell you this, that God, if they were willing, God still has the ability. He is so powerful that He can use them too. But sometimes He expects us to play a role. And so whatever that little tug is on your heart about that person you need to go see or that person you need to call and just tell them you love them, that's part of your role. And God's just waiting for you to play it. Because that person, they're not a dead stick either. And God just needs us to pour a little water on them. I love you, friends. I hope you have a great Sunday. I'm going to have a great Sunday too. After I've now been impatient with the plants growing, I think I'm going to go to the house and put on a pot of water and try to watch it boil. And then I'm going to paint a wall and try to watch it watch it dry. Because that sounds like a great way to test my patience just all day long. But I am grateful that I'm not a dead stick either. I love you guys. I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.